Well, good morning everyone, welcome back to the allotment. It's the 1st of August today. I was just going to start with looking at my sweet corn, which unfortunately, I think this is weather damage rather than anything else. We've had a couple of days where we had quite strong winds, so I'm wondering whether the sweet corn's been blown over rather than pushed over by the usual suspects, the badgers, given that they've not touched any of there's nothing touched the cobs, it's just literally been pushed over. So I'm hoping that with a few canes I can stake this and it might recover. I had started to put up a framework around it to protect it from the badgers, but it only got as far as putting the posts in. I hadn't managed to put any wire around or any sort of kickboards along the bottom, which is what I did last year. So I think what I'll do is stake each of the sweet corn that has been pushed over or blown over, and see if they recover, and then assuming that they do, I'll get the wire and everything around. Otherwise this is going to probably be the end for this year's sweet corn, which is a shame because it looked like it was going to be a good crop. Certainly quite a few, as you can probably see, quite a few cobs on the different plants, so that's a shame, but there you go. I'm not sure whether that is, as I say, weather damage, which I'm pretty sure it is, or something else. While we're here, let's have a look at what's right alongside. I've got pattypan squash down here. These are quite late starting, but they seem to be doing quite well now. There's a couple in there, kind of scallopino pattypan shape, and then I've got regular courgettes here. There's nothing on. There's a kind of giant-sized one on the end there, and then these are the gherkins, which got all sorts of gherkins. I did another batch of pickled gherkins yesterday, and I've now completely run out of jars, so I think what I'm going to have to do is either find something else to do with them, or I might have to go straight on the compost. I know my neighbour's got chickens. I don't know whether they go as chicken food or not. I'll have to ask her next time I see her, and she can have them if the chickens will have them. Started another row of lettuce there, and beetroot there alongside the sweet corn. The other stuff which is up by the shed, I'll show you that in a minute. The lettuce is starting to go to seed, and we're starting to get to the end of a lot of the beetroot. Getting a good crop of runner beans this year. Had I don't know, 4 or 5 harvests off of these, and there's another one, easily another one there now today. Under here is next year's or winter kale and purple sprouting broccoli, so that's doing not too bad, and I'm just slowly digging. This was the broad bean bed, just slowly digging that back when either it's not too hot or not too wet as we've had. Carrots, they're doing quite well. I've had a harvest off of the carrots, as you can see at this end. They're probably not quite as big as they're going to get yet, but they're big enough to eat, so that's doing well. We've got cucumbers are doing well. They need to be pushed back off of the path, but they're a reasonable size. They're not too big, so they're about 12-15 centimetres. Quite hard to spot. There's one in there that you can see. Yeah, there's one in there. So they're quite hard to spot, but they tend to do quite well. They don't get too big and too tough. They kind of reach that size and don't really get any bigger. The butternut squash, as far as I know, last time I had a good look, couldn't find any butternut squash. So I'm not quite sure. There's plenty of flowers, just haven't produced any fruit. So I don't know whether they're just not, they're just producing female fruit and no males, or whether it's something else. There's a bee just going in there now, but let me see. Pumpkins, I've got two. The one that's gone orange and one that's just turning. There was a third, but it didn't last. It got attacked by the slugs. So they're not doing too bad. The stakes are basically where the roots are. Getting eaten alive this morning by mosquitoes, which is not very pleasant. So that's just where the roots are, so that it aids for watering. When I'm watering with or watering Kale, I can get right to the roots. Plenty of apples on the apple tree. It's going to be another good harvest this year, I think. I'm going to try and leave them as long as I can, see if we can get eating apples off of them. Although I will harvest a few as and when required for cooking, but my aim is to have them as eaters this year. Getting a second flush of raspberries. I think these are sort of summer or autumn fruiting ones. They've been very tasty, but not very many at any one particular time, so you kind of get like a handful, which it's just enough to eat, and then you end up having to wait till the next time there's some ready and eat them then. But they're very sweet, very nice. And apologies for filming with my mouth full. Now, pears. We lost a pear. We did have 4, and we're now down to 3. The one that we lost was actually rubbing against this raspberry cane, and it damaged the fruit. So it was on the end of this one. So I took that off last weekend, I think it was. But hopefully the other 3 are clear of similar fate, so that should be good. And then gooseberries, loganberries, and the early raspberries are all done. There's a video up of gooseberry and red onion chutney, which I put up yesterday. Basically, I've got a glut of gooseberries, so plenty of chutney there. Potatoes are doing good. Had a good harvest off of these. One row, the far row has been cleared, and then I've still got these 2 rows to do. And we've also had these volunteer sunflowers that just appeared, and but they've been quite nice. They're very pretty. I'll stick an image up alongside the video so that you can see they've been really pretty. A kind of a orangey, reddy yellow sunflower, and I presume just seeds from previous years. Beetroot here doing quite well, and then beetroot over there by the shed. That's a mixed packet of beetroot, so there's sort of purple, red, white, and a yellowy colour, orangey yellow colour beetroot, and then the dogs are just taking their time while I do this, which is nice. Lynx are doing quite well. Have had a couple of weeding sessions in there because that patch seems to be quite bad this year for annual weeds, so I've had to keep on top of that. And then the broccoli, cauliflower and swede aren't doing very well. Broccoli and cauliflower have done okay. think they've been a little bit too close together, so we've had to settle with slightly smaller heads than we might otherwise have done, but otherwise they've been quite tasty, and just a lesson for next year that if I grow that variety again, they're going to need to be planted a little bit farther apart when they're put out onto the plot, but otherwise they've done okay. So that, I think, is about it. So if you'll excuse me, I think I'll be staking some sweet corn. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.